Alright, so mainly because I did the god ranking, I'm going to be doing the humans ranking next, which is going to be a lot more simpler. I literally just have 6 humans, so it's going to be pretty easy to do this. I might do just a combined roster, so everybody that's fought eventually, but for now I think this is a lot easier for me to do until I guess I reread the entire series again. But I know a lot of people on Reddit disagreed heavily with my tier list on the gods, mainly, Poseidon being too high or Shiva being too low, and I forgot who else was considered good in that list. Maybe it was Buddha, I don't know. But again, it's pretty funny that people on Reddit will disagree with my takes. People that have never seen me debate the stances I take, never seen my videos, or just don't understand my arguments, for one. Because the people that have seen it consecutively, they know how smart I am on this, etc. They understand it, and ultimately I'll take the latter over the prior. So yeah, Reddit, y'all can disagree with me all you want. Every Reddit person that's tried to debate me has ended up blocking me and lost the debate. So yeah, until then, yeah, I hold Poseidon as the second strongest god. Come at me when he's bloodlusted. In character, I might make a different tier list because even I'll admit Poseidon is in number 2 in character, but this is my SBA, which is bloodlusted, full power, and you take him out of character trying to kill. So yeah, he would be at his pinnacle. So 40-day flood, it's coming out immediately, which is why I think he's so high. But anyways, this is going to be every human at their peak. And I'm also going to be doing them in tier. So let's start with the top tier. So we're going to be doing S, A, and B tier. Now there is an argument for C tier being needed here, but I'll explain my reasoning why in a bit on why I'm not going to be including a C tier here. But there definitely is a character that could be placed in C tier. So for here, we're going to have Adam and Kojiro, but this is going to be specifically after or Zeus amped Adam and Poseidon amped Kojiro. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean Zeus amped Adam and Poseidon amped Kojiro? Well, Zeus amped Adam, or I'll just say post round 2 Adam. Is Adam with the scaling from Zeus? Because if you don't know, I think Adam's scaling is dependent on whoever he's fighting. But even if you take away the time punch or true gods, right, any divine technique that Adam copied from Zeus, you still have Eyes of the Lord, which help him react and dodge to anything, and the AP to damage every other human here pretty easily. So he would still most likely be at the very top. Even with situational Adam, or base Adam as they say, with just a reactionary feat that he has, that he could react to everything and the AP to damage every human and god for that matter. But he most likely, that Adam would probably lose to this Kojiro specifically, which is after Poseidon's fight Kojiro. There we go. This Kojiro scan creation was able to overcome 40-day flood and kill Poseidon. He was able to react to the fastest character in the verse, and you could also possibly argue that he stole techniques or divine techniques from the gods, but that is irrelevant to what you most likely should argue for Kojiro. And ultimately started the fight. Kojiro really doesn't have any room to be an S tier, most likely would be an A to B tier fighter. But this is them at their peaks, so I'm having, if it's full power Adam with Zeus scaling, I'm putting Adam at number 1, Kojiro number 2, which I know a lot of you people might be surprised, like, whoa, didn't you debate multiple people on this topic of Adam versus Kojiro? Yes, I did. That's called the devil's advocate, so yeah. But if it's the other way around and it's Adam with just that reactionary hack and the AP to hurt everybody, Kojiro might take that at his peak. But if it's that Adam against start of the round Kojiro, Adam would most likely win. So Yeah, they each have arguments to win over each other, but just for now and just for my sanity, I'm putting Adam at number 1, Kodro at number 2, and that is going to be that's probably going to be my S tier for now. So yeah, let's move on to the A tier. Alright, so for my A tier, I have Chin and Lubu. Now, before people will attack me for having Chin or Lubu above the other, this tier is specifically the most interchangeable on this dependent variable, okay? So let me explain, because people don't understand that. I will explicitly say if this category or this tier is debatable. This tier is debatable dependent on how you will interpret Sky Eater in this debate. There is a misinterpretation that Lubu could spam Sky Eater. He can't. His Volunder can't handle it, and neither could his body. At most, he has 2, and it all comes down to how do you think Sky Eater would interact with Heavenly Hand of Defense and Tortoise Ripple. If Lubu cannot overpower both of those, Chin wins. If Lubu can overpower it, Lubu wins. Lubu is stronger. He might actually be faster. But Chin might actually be a bit more durable, has probably better willpower, and is way better technically sound to Lubu. Lubu was more of a he'll make it into strength contest. Kind of like Poseidon, but Poseidon does it with power. So you could also make some weird arguments for their narrative arguments that the Emperor is the strongest in China, and then there's like a statement that contradicts it for Lubu. So it's definitely up in the air on this tier specifically, especially with that Tortoise Ripple and Heavenly Hand of Defense compared to Sky Eater, and how you compare Sky Eater to Desmos. It's definitely going to be a problem, especially if you want to consider the whole Chi Yu versus Chin thing, and say that Chin slayed a god while being a human. But again, that's just dependent on how you guys view it. I'm going to leave this A tier up to you guys. This is definitely extremely debatable, Chin versus Lubu. I've seen a couple debates about this, and I've seen each debater go either way on it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this up to you guys with that. Do you guys think Chin's Heavenly Hand of Defense and Tortoise Ripple could handle Sky Eater? Or do you think Lubu is just too strong and that even his basic strikes could damage Chin and overpower it? Or do you think it will take 2 Sky Eaters to take out Chin? But yeah, that's A tier for me. So let's move on to B tier. So now we have Raiden and Jack the Ripper. So I know there are arguments for Raiden being in A tier, and there are arguments for Jack being in A tier with London, but I just don't think that they have the, I guess, bloodlusted to the same extent success rate as both Chin and Lubu have. But I do not disagree that Raiden and Jack could be in A tier, with Jack and London and Raiden respectively, with any Shiva scaling. So I'm just going to be placing them here, and once I finish my reread, my opinion might change, because I know Raiden has some relative scaling to Tandava Karma Shiva, especially if you argue that Raiden was getting amped consecutively through that fight. He has strength to crush limbs on a divine level. Yatagarasu could level anybody, and he's definitely the physically strongest human on this list. So I'm definitely would probably put Raiden over Jack in a normal, human to human standpoint. And for Jack, a lot of people really sleep on Jack. Jack was able to react and dodge not just Hercules' attacks, but also Exodus Hercules' attacks, and was actually able to take multiple hits from Hercules, albeit not directly, and he did have divine weapons stopping the attack. He was still able to take a lot of damage from Hercules and still get back up and win. So ultimately, B tier, you know, if you think Jack could take Raiden or if Raiden could take Jack, I'll leave that up to you guys. Yeah, I'll definitely leave the Raiden scaling to the side because I actually do have a very crazy argument for Raiden that I'm plan to make a video on for some serious crazy speed scaling on his part. But yeah, so my ranking would be Adam and Kojiro at S, Chin and Lubu at A tier, with arguably Raiden and Jack and London joining them in A tier. But for now, I'm going to keep them in the tier below, for now anyways. And yeah, but I do argue that A to B tier is definitely debatable in itself. I've seen people actually argue Jack and London versus Chin, Jack and London versus Lubu, Jack and London versus Raiden. Literally, I've seen this topic. I've seen those 4 characters be debated multiple times between my friend group. So I definitely have heard many arguments on this topic. But for now, this is where I'm going to place them, and my overall rating or ranking on them might change in the next coming weeks. So yeah, this is going to be my human ranking for now. I'm trying to make them, I guess, less controversial by tiering them and placing them, you know, saying if they're interchangeable or not, and saying, you know, arguments for each side that I've heard. But apparently people don't understand that, so yeah, that's whatever though. But yeah, that's my ranking for the humans. I might do a potential tier list on the people to come and how strong I think they'd be, but yeah, or I also need to do the overall tier list so far anyways for all the fighters. But yeah, peace until the next video.